Okay, I'll share this. All right, so everyone, today is 5/21, so May the 21st, 2020. And this is something I just started. It's GitHub Teams. I don't know if anybody's ever used that. This is fairly new to me, and I just did it 19 minutes ago. So I wish we could easily add people, but I have to actually type in your username or email address to add you versus just checking a box for the people that's already added to the team. So I'll do that, but just to take a look at this, well, I'll tell you what, everybody that's listening to me, can you go to our GitHub repository and click on Teams and see if you can even see this? And I don't know if you have the option to ask to join or what.
There we go. You can request to join.
Can? Okay, cool.
You can.
Good deal. All right, everybody. Well, why? Yeah, I see that pending there. So anybody that wants to join, that's listen to me right now, go ahead and do that just to save some time.
Where do you request to join? On the
You go up to members, and then in members, you see like a box on the top right that says request to join.
All right, while everybody tries to find that, let's just go ahead and hit on some updates. So Simon, you are going to take the lead for project management, just kind of get everybody organized and also help with translation. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody kind of a little bit of your background?
Hi everyone. Well, I'm Simon. Great to meet you all. Love to turn on my camera, but today my internet's not playing nice with me. Yeah, I'm based in Mexico City, currently product manager at a venture studio working on some interesting B2B SaaS projects. I spoke with Brennan, was it last week? Just to get a little bit more of a feeling in COVIDx. And I'll be starting to work with all you guys to keep track of who's doing what. Brennan was telling me that fortunately we have over 140 people on the chat. So keeping track of who's doing what, making sure that people know what others are working on, and also at the same time to actually be contributing something useful to the project. I'll be helping with translation. Fortunately, my background in Spanish helps, so I can work on translating the app from English to Spanish that we can then release in, within the US, and then depending on the time frame, also throughout Latin America and other parts of the world.
All right, thank you, Simon. And yes, to echo that point, 140 people, that's a lot. I'm honored to have that many people. At the same time, it's really hard to get the project organized across time zones, across the world, really. So we're all in this together trying to figure that one out. So if anybody has any tips, it's going to help not only us, but all these other teams doing the same thing. So thank you, Simon. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. So got that first one out of the way. So Fund COVID. Now, Fund COVID is a project that's spinning out of the Help with COVID website that we originally posted this project. And what they're trying to do is really curate the best projects on Help with COVID and present them in a way where either they can be ready for investment from a traditional angel VC, or open up for donations from just donors or philanthropists or foundations, stuff like that. So I'm working with them to figure that out, see what's best from the project owner's angle and also from the investor angle. So just, I don't know if they'll be sending out invites if we do get accepted or what. I just kind of want to throw that out there. And also Tripetto, this is Juana on today? No, he's not. So Tripetto was the survey plugin that we tested out over the weekend and last week. And yeah, it's pretty solid. So we've decided to go with that. So that means Formic will not be used at this point. So we're using Trapetto, and Trapetto is pretty cool. It is basically, it's a form builder, and you can embed it, or you can go further. So right now we're embedding it, and the link's in there, and this is actually what the form looks like. So it's pretty simple. It's kind of like Typeform. It's conversational flows. It's got all kind of different logic, and yeah, you can pretty much do all this. So this is already embedded into COVIDx.app now. Got some responsive issues, but Unwana's working through that. I've been chatting with him, and he is in Africa. So let's move back to where we're at here. So that's what we're working with there, and he's going to be handling that. He's doing a pretty good job of that. So I was going to, I guess I'll just go ahead and run through this. There's a couple things we need to build as the ending block, and if you hadn't been in Trapetto, you don't know what that means, but the ending block is basically the last screen. We need to build that, and that the team from Trapetto has been working on that. I don't know exactly how far along they are, but this is something I'll address with Unwana. And geolocation, same thing, where you click like find me on the map, and you just trigger your browser to geolocate you. And also the visual stats for submitted data. Now this is something that anybody's listening can take a hold of. Visual stats for submitted data. So when we do submit data in for the survey, a lot of the feedback that I'm reading on other reviews from other apps, it's let me see the data. Like, let me see the trends and what people are submitting, so I can just get a better understanding of what's going on. So we're going to do that. So the visual stats for submitted data, I'm thinking for the emojis for that first screen where you have, how are you feeling? 5 different emotions or feelings. We can actually map that kind of like on an emoji scale graph. And where's that at? So that's in Trello on one of those cards. It actually has a couple examples. So that is 4 things that we need to look at. First, ending block and geolocation is definitely number 1 and number 2. The rest is kind of the light features there, but eventually you need to get to it. And need to figure out on this is the gamification part. So attributing points to a user once they complete a form, just how to do that, how to check off saying this user completed this form on this day, and 3 days in a row, they get 50 points or what have you. I know Marie is working on that. And same thing, different survey per session. So it's kind of the same thing when we're gonna have different themes of each day. So like the first day is kind of demographics and get the basic information out of the way. And the next day might be medical history. The next day is kind of personal opinion. Maybe the next day is mental health. How are you feeling on certain different levels? So instead of just having a 30-minute long survey for that one time for a person, it's going to be this trickle effect. So every time they come back, we introduce them to some more questions, make it fun, make it exciting, and really try to push that daily check-in, that consecutive daily visit to fill this stuff out. Okay, so moving on. Anybody, if you have any questions or comments, ideas, please stop me while I'm talking. Maps now. Let's see, Daniel will be working on the maps. So basically it's just trends, and there's a lot of maps and dashboards out there, but what really makes a difference and what states are going off of are trends. Everybody's probably heard about the daily increase, 14 days, whatever, but we're just gonna do daily increase or decrease over 30 days. The deaths, the positive tests, the hospitalizations, there's about 3 or 4 stats and hospitalizations. And I didn't list out the sources, but Daniel has a pretty good list of all those. Wearables, we need to figure out a status on this. I know it's close. I opened up a conversation in the development channel, Rocket Chat, getting Nabil's and Daniel's feedback on that. So we're close with this. I'm just not sure where it's at. And for the just some design, the interface that we're dealing with right now. Basically, right now we have the vertical nav bar. Let's just go to it. We have this vertical nav bar, and I don't know, it feels like we don't have enough links, and it's kind of taking up space. So I'm going back over here to the template that we're using. This is a sticky header. Just a sticky nav bar where it sticks up at the top. And I'm thinking that we could probably just have a few links up here to save some space and keep it clean. And when you do minimize this, it minimizes to that hamburger menu on the left-hand side. So I'm going to actually send that to Daniel, I think. Yeah. And the gamification, so that's Marie as well. So the Firebase dynamic links, it's really the points, because the dynamic links, that's mainly for referrals. So we're going to push people to invite friends and family and colleagues, because the idea is we have to have tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people to actually make this really valuable and be able to predict well. So we've got to invite a lot of people, and we got to make that fun. So we're going to use a referral link. It's a unique link generated for every user. And when they share that out, when somebody clicks on that and joins via that link, both the user that sent it and the new user that accepted it, they'll both get points for that, both get credit for that. So the idea is to treat this as a game where the person who invites the most people is on a leaderboard, and they get points for that, and they can redeem those points for gift cards to local businesses in the area or online services, or they can just win on a leaderboard. And there's a couple other things that we could add in there, some badges and stuff. But that's the idea behind the points and gamification, and then just ongoing. So that's all my updates for today. I'm going to open up the floor now if anybody has anything to add.
Yeah, Brennan, could you please share the link again for the team page? The link didn't go anywhere.
Let's see here. Did nobody see that link? It should.
Let's try it again.
Now, I don't know. This is for me logged in, so I don't know if that's the same link.
We're getting a page not found.
Yeah, I see. Me being logged in. Well, let's see. I mean, should be able to find it. If you just go to our repo and click on Teams, you're going to see it. I say that. You might have to be logged in first. Let's see. Yeah, well, does anybody see this? Where it says Teams? Just click that. Now, I'm not logged into my other browser up here, and I don't see that, so you'll probably have to be logged in, but just click on Teams. What about it? Anybody find it?
Not wondering if you could put the GitHub link, or if you could put the GitHub page back up again, where the COVID is located.
I'm sorry, I could barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's loud and clear there.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering if you could put the GitHub page back up where where the Teams link was, or the Teams navigation was for GitHub, because somehow I had trouble trying to find it when I went onto the GitHub page.
Gregory, what's your GitHub username?
It should be GMH123, I think. Hold on. There it is, right there, the first one.
Okay. I wish GitHub would make it easier searching for people, because there's a lot of people who have the same username. There's just nothing else to try to figure out who it is. I got one pending member.
I also don't have the Teams tab on the Citizen Health page.
Okay. Let's see here. So and who was that just said that?
This is Natalia.
Natalia. Hey, Natalia. I'm glad you could make it today.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here. So let me see, Natalia, I need to see, this is the first time I've used Teams, and if anybody else has used it, please interrupt and tell me what I'm doing wrong. But so we have team members for the actual repo, and then there's this Teams option, which I guess you can have teams within each repo, maybe like development, design, what have you. And I guess it's the place for discussions and just something better than using issues as tickets. I think that's what it's really meant for. Let me see, Natalia, what would be your GitHub?
It's N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, ALESA.
GitHub's having some issues right now. Yeah, there's just their search isn't working right now. There we go. I'll tell you what, everybody, if you just, let me see. Just type in your GitHub username in the chat, and I'll just save that chat and go back and add everybody.
I was able to add myself onto the GitHub page, so I'm good on that.
Okay, yeah, I invited you as a member though.
Right, right.
Yeah, so as far as people finding it, I figured you'd be able to find it since it's a public repository. Let's see. Visible. Okay, that's what that is. So you have to be a member of the Citizen Health repo to be able to see that. Okay. So we'll try this out for a little bit and see if this would be a good way to organize things on GitHub, because a lot of times you get into issues and you have comments on pull requests and stuff like that, and it really gets lost. So I'm thinking that we can add this as something, just another tool to play around with, try to figure this out. Ah, okay, there we go. So now if I can invite somebody brand new that's not a member of our repo, I can actually check a box for the team as well. Perfect. So Natalia, I just did that with you.
Thank you.
All right, I think I added everybody that posts their name. Well, Megan, I'm gonna get you. Natalia, since you joined us today, can you give a little intro to yourself and kind of just let everybody know who you are and what your background is?
Sure. So my name is Natalia. I'm based out of Austin, Texas. I have a background as a residency trained pharmacist, but I am now a software engineer. I am working on the React Native portion of COVIDx, or I'm getting started with the React Native portion of COVIDx. I'm working with Daniel and Nabel on getting started with that.
All right, good deal. And I'm trying to get some clarification from Nabil on what's the status of Human API. I don't know if you've talked to him since in the past week.
So Daniel connected me with him and on working on React Native, and he said that before we get started on the COVIDx portion, we need to redo, or we need to like update the humantive. And
yeah. Well,
that is where we are with that.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and we need to tap the brakes on that because I think there's some miscommunication.
Okay.
Yeah, so Humantive right now is not a priority, or basically it is, but COVIDx is first, and there's really two completely different wearable integrations that we're working on. So Human API basically it's just an aggregator of different APIs from different wearables, and we have that integrated with Humantive. And there's a lot of React Native stuff that needs to be updated, but we're using this for COVIDx. It's really two separate things. So the priority definitely should be COVIDx right now. And I'll reach out to Nabil and see what his thinking was on that. I'm not too sure. He hasn't made a couple of these past meetings, so I'm not sure if there was just some communication that dropped through.
Okay, I interpret it as like we are using Humantive in COVIDx or integrating them, and that's why Humantive needs to be done first. But since I'm just new and jumping on.
Okay, yeah, that was actually the original plan, and we kind of hit some roadblocks on that. Yeah, that was the original plan before COVIDx was even a thing. We were going to use Humantive and just repurpose it for COVID-19. And another developer, that had something very similar to us, where it was connect a wearable, display your heart rate, and basically predicting the spread of illness based on heart rate. And that's what we're going to be doing with wearables. But Apple said, nope, sorry, that's not allowed. And that's when they gave him a long list of stuff that he had to do. He had to basically get the whole code, app, and everything independently reviewed. And also he needed to be from a, what was the exact words they use? Basically, it's like a significant healthcare organization or something, institution, which they didn't put too much clarification into that. Could Citizen Health pull it off? Maybe. But since then, it's been, 2 months now? I have not seen any apps get published related to COVID-19. I mean, I still search for them in the Google Play Store, and I get two, the CDC and FEMA. So we decided after that conversation, I chatted with Apple, and they basically told me that, yeah, that's not going to happen right now. So that's why we decided to go with just a separate entity altogether with COVIDx and create a web app, basically a progressive web app. And Jared's doing a lot of good work on that. So it's a fancy website it's mobile first. You can actually install it on your device and access some of the same native features like push notification, some of your sensors and offline storage and stuff. So that is kind of the summary of the Humantive to COVIDx transition.
Okay, so we're putting the brakes on React Native with COVIDx.
Correct.
Essentially. Okay. Should I get in touch with Nabil, or should I get in touch with Daniel and move on to a different
definitely, yeah, Daniel. And I'll open this conversation up. I got it in the development channel. Let me see, somebody may have responded. Okay. Yeah, so there were some responses here from Daniel. Let me see, Daniel. Nabil asked for the front end work. Okay. Yeah, so I think we just all need to get on the same page. I think we just it seems like we're all missed meetings, key meetings, and some things do fall through the cracks. So yeah, if you don't mind, hop into the development channel or the COVID-19 channel.
Okay.
And here's one thing that I'm noticing too. We need to keep things more transparent, like conversations out in the open, because I'm guilty of this. I'll just reach directly out to somebody and start asking about something. We'll have a long conversation, And then I move on to another conversation. It's like nobody else knows what we just talked about. So everybody's just speculating. They're just in the dark, don't know what happens. So I think we need to have conversations out in the open more. So in these channels, utilize the threads within Rocket Chat to keep things organized, because people might not comment, but they might read it and just understand where everything is. So yeah, if you don't mind, just pose a question and tag Daniel and Nabil
Okay.
in either development or COVIDx.
Do you need an invite to the development channel?
No, you should be able just to search for it. If you click on, if you're in it right now, if you click on that directory, it's the little globe thing.
Oh, here it
You
is.
should have channels and users. And there's a lot of channels in there. They're kind of old. But yeah, development.
Okay, I found it.
And Megan, we need to clean up these channels too. There's a lot of channels in here.
To that point as well, I'll be reaching out to everyone on both Rocket Chat and to everyone that attended this meeting in particular to sort of get a feeling of what everyone's working on and get an inventory ready so that we have a clearer picture of where we stand with all the different parts of the project. So just to keep an eye out for that message from me. I don't know if anyone isn't on Rocket Chat.
I don't think I am. I don't think I've received an invite to Rocket Chat. I'm on chat.io. Is that Rocket Chat or?
Yeah,
Chat.citizenhealth.io, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I'm on Rocket Chat then.
yeah, it's yeah, that's it. And they have mobile apps too. If you want to download that, just search for in your app store for Rocket Chat. It's pretty neat. It's an open source Slack alternative. Yeah, and Simon, that's exactly what we need. Maybe we can.
Yeah, once I have it ready, what I'm thinking is just to have at least a basic Excel or spreadsheet with the names of everyone on the team, what role they have, or what their like specialty is, what they're working on, and then try to link that as much as I can to either Trello or GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I have a few ideas of what I want to do or how we can continue advancing, but I think that's definitely the first step.
Okay. Now you say Excel or Google Sheets. Are you familiar with Airtable or Notion?
Yeah, I've used both.
Yeah, I've seen, I don't know which project that was. I saw one with Airtable and it was really cool because they had project sheets or like project pages and it was really slick. It was
Right.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Cool. I'll check it out, see what the deal is, and
I keep pushing myself to try to use that more.
yeah, I think for me the only biggest drawback is that Airtable actually costs something.
I think okay, I might.
It has a free plan, but you know, it only gets so far. So I'll definitely check it out. And if I can't find anything else, it's just going to be like a small, like a short list, you know. So I can either do that or even put it within the GitHub Teams page.
Yeah, you can just do a Google Sheet. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think they do have. Okay, so we can apply for Airtable Pro plans for free with no time limit. Interesting. There's a lot of services out there that offering their products and services for free. I might sign up for that. But yeah, for the time being, Google Sheets is fine. And if you could just post it here and possibly, now I do know that we can link GitHub with Rocket Chat and Trello with Rocket Chat. So I'll try to figure that one out. But it'd be pretty cool if we could post something in GitHub and all the issues and the pull requests could be sent to a channel where everybody can just kind of stay in Rocket Chat to figure that out and have updates. But yeah, if you want to utilize this team function in GitHub, try it out. If nobody likes it, we'll give it about a week. If it's not meeting our needs, then we can stop it. But yeah, let's just try to use this. And at the same time, this works out too for issues because we can just tag people directly, tag developers directly.
I mean, having everything in one space would definitely be ideal, as to avoid having any communication fall through the cracks. At least for me personally, I'd never used GitHub Teams, so see.
Me either. That's why I don't know after this next post, like what exactly happens. So I'm not entirely sure this is the best thing. Like I said, I just started it. Wanted to try to use it because I did notice there's a lot of conversation happening on the pull request and the issues. So if we could just organize conversations in one spot, but at the same time, if those conversations could also be sent straight to a channel on Rocket Chat where everybody at least just keeps up with it, that would be beneficial. But Trello, Simon, I think Trello is, I know you mentioned that if we started a new Trello board, if you're more familiar with that, then let's just use that if you want to.
Right.
Because I know the one we have right now, that Trello board, there's so much stuff on it. It's confusing. I mean, I get confused trying to find stuff. So if we can just start a new board where that's pretty simple and just kind of straight to the point with what we need to do here over the next 30 days and just focus on these sprints, like doing or needs to be done, doing, done style model. Hey, Elizabeth. All right, so I think I've added everybody that has sent me their GitHub username. Okay, so I'll just kind of summarize that again. If this is not working, don't hold me to this. We're going to test it out for a few weeks, or I mean a few days this week. And if it doesn't work, let's just revert back to really the communications happen in Rocket Chat and Trello. You know, people understand that. I kind of like Trello. I think ours just got a little confusing. And other projects, they've broken down. They've got 10 plus Trello boards. Megan only saw Chrono Y. Like each team, they have a separate Trello board. And each team is really just a task. Of course, they have 900 people. It's a lot of people to manage. And I just want to kind of address something that I've been noticing, and it's a common phenomenon in crisis or natural disasters. It's basically there's 6 phases of human feelings after a natural disaster. And we are experiencing the phase of disillusionment. And I want to share that with everybody because I thought it was interesting. It made sense because I realized that, 2 months ago when all this was happening, everybody was excited, including myself, about really helping out and getting stuff done and just volunteering. I was working all day and all night trying to get this going. And now I think that people are starting to realize, oh, this is really harder than we thought. Are we really making a difference? And kind of going on that downhill slope. And I'm trying to find that link here. Okay, here it is. So this made a whole lot of sense. I just wanted to point out that this is how I'm feeling, if anybody else is feeling this way. So you get the heroic phase. It's for everybody. You have those emotional highs. I don't know if you can see this. And you got the honeymoon phase. And then you start going down. And then it starts picking back up. So I think the whole entire volunteer program around COVID-19, we're just past that honeymoon phase now, and we're going down. And I talked with people from Help with COVID, and that was the same exact thing. And they could verify that with analytics. They're like, just this past 2 weeks, things have just dropped off the cliff as far as interactions and stuff. Here, I'm going to share that link with everybody. Yeah, makes a whole lot of sense. And it's interesting just to research this because this is, you have to find the actual article. If you click on that training manual, the link is broken. They hid it for some reason. So you have to find the actual article, but you can search for it and find it. All right, well, that is all the updates that I have, and I know I try to get to that quickly, just for the sake of everybody's time. Now, I know, Simon, we're going to start these daily updates or daily check-ins, and this is something I've been thinking about too, and it's not just for us. This is for everybody working from home now or working remotely now. How do you convey to the rest of the team what you did and what you need help on to continue that flow? Because some people work at night, some people work in the day. So I've been trying to think through this for the past year anyways, just working remotely, of how can you sum up your day in not just text, but also video and images, so somebody can grasp everything and maybe help you out with something. So I'm just kind of walking through my thoughts here. I use Loom a lot, and I think it's a whole lot easier just to kind of show a screenshot or show a small video and just record yourself and your thoughts, so you can have some more context around what you're trying to explain, and then maybe like a short description of text, whatever that is, you know, what you're struggling with, some links or stuff like that. So that's kind of my thoughts on how I would like to do the daily reviews or daily stand-ups, whatever you want to call those, Simon. That's just my thoughts. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was thinking, at least in the short run, while we figure out a better way to do it, just do a new channel on the Citizen Health Chat, where, you know, everyone can just check into their work. That's why I kind of want to do the inventory as well, is because I know not everyone is working on this daily. Some people are working on it a few hours a week, or maybe a few hours a day. So understanding who should be checking in, being able to see what others are doing, I think would be a great place to start. And then, you know, hopefully by the time next Thursday rolls around, we can have both the inventory and the quote unquote stand-up channel ready. And, you know, if it's working, then we'll keep it. If it's not, then we'll find something else that we can actually use more sustainably.
Okay.
If anything, just to get things going and not let this hang in the air.
Sure, yeah, definitely. Everybody needs a little guidance. And I need to figure out what I need to do. And there's a lot of times bottlenecks, like just not knowing what somebody's working on is a bottleneck. So just having that out in the open definitely clears a lot of things up. Okay, cool. Well, does anybody else have anything to add or anything to suggest?
So I think you mentioned, we mentioned before about whether this, how do you feel is, whether is it about your physical health or mental health. So I see that because there's only one self-help check-in, there's no way to tell whether it is like an overall health or like a physical health or mental health.
Yeah, I would love to lean towards mental health. I don't know if that's maybe where you're going with this, but there's a lot of symptom checkers out there that's asking how you feel in regards to an illness with COVID-19. And nobody's really doing the other side, the mental health. How are you emotionally doing? So I think there could be a couple, there could be just 3 questions. How are you physically feeling? And then the next one is, how are you emotionally feeling? Mentally, emotionally, that's what I say, emotionally. Because a lot of people want to talk about that. A lot of people need somebody to talk to it about. And maybe if you could just have that anonymous option where you can at least vent your frustration out in some emojis. I think there's something there. Bonner, do you have any ideas on that? Because this is, like I said, we have different themes. So there's kind of the demographic and the medical history and family history and stuff like that. There could definitely be themes for mental health.
Yeah, so I feel like we want to be specific in order to separate what exactly, for example, you want to you have collected the income income demographic, racial demographic, etc. And you want to see how many people of that group has like a good mental health or bad mental health. You want to like be specific in order to like identify problems.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was trying to think about with the analytics in a way. I mean, you got all this data. Another thing is, what do we do with this data? How do we present that data? So in a way, I mean, you're kind of having an ongoing conditional logic with all of these questions. So if a user does say that they're always feeling physically well, they're, don't have any medical history, nobody that they know is sick, they have a high paying job, we can tailor these forms, these survey questions to have 4 or 5 different decision trees based on answers. I mean, unlimited amount of paths based on certain answers. So we can get very detailed with this as much as we want to do. And that's why we went with Tripetto, because you have a visual form builder, so you can drag off different branches of any question to get really as specific as you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
To that end, I don't know if it helps or not. The company I work at is currently doing a mental health wellness check-in with like over 3,000 employees, and they have these series of like 5 or 6 questions that they've been asking, and they seem to be getting a lot of really positive feedback from people being checked in on. So if it helps, I can definitely ask them for the question list and see if they've gotten any initial insights, and then we can use that to help build this mental wellness check-in part.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll definitely learn from somebody else's experience. And that's a good thing about these surveys too, is because we can get creative with it. We can A, B, C, D, E, and F test this. We can test as many different variations that we want to, and we can make it fun. And that's the one thing I think we should do differently to set ourselves apart. Is all these other forms and surveys are all dry academic stuff. It's just like, fill this out. You don't know how long it's going to take. It might take 20 minutes, might take 2 minutes. Just click, keep adding, keep typing in stuff. It's just not user friendly, and I don't get a delight feeling after I fill it out. So that's one thing we can do, is at least make this eventful, exciting. Have some positive emotions flowing every click, every step. Make it fun, gamify it. So that's the direction we can head. I think mental health. I mean, I don't understand why not too many people are talking about it. But Megan, you've seen some links where that's kind of becoming a big thing, and like this virus is not going anywhere, so it's a good idea to lean that direction. Sure.
It is, and even some of our doctors have asked, they're in the mental health profession as well. They've asked us to kind of step in and kind of lead in that direction as well, specifically for this. So that not only when it's being requested, from our larger community, that this is something that is needed and necessary. One of our doctors actually asked to, I would love to see some of the wearable data, if they've exercised, where their heart rate is, that type of thing. Even to that biofeedback could help as well. If you're anxious, your heart rate is going to go up, and maybe, could we track this, from the doctor speaking to the patient, see how they're able to calm down, or if they utilize some of their suggestions, or if they took that walk. I mean, all of this leads down to a much, wonderful road. But these are some of the things that they're asking us for. And I think that our opportunity to really help people here on the doctor side and just individuals in general is really quite extraordinary, what we're going to be able to do, and leading on to, even broader paths.
Oh, there's a bug here. Is anybody else, when you go to COVIDx, so the screen that I was showing right there, that's not updated. I'm having a weird issue with Chrome. If I open a different browser, I see something differently. I'm sure everybody else, well, I know it's specific to me. It's been like that the past 2 weeks. I thought I fixed it, but when I click the daily check-in, I just get a blank screen. I just noticed that. I don't know if anybody else sees that. Is that just me? Anybody? Can anybody confirm that?
I was gonna say I noticed it too when I tried to do the same thing. I noticed that it went to a blank screen as well too.
Right. Yeah, I just saw that because I use a different browser. Okay. Well, I will create an issue for that, and good. That's good feedback. Okay. Well, does anybody else have any updates? I see some.
I just wanted to say I'm getting a blank screen on Firefox.
Okay. All right. That is good to know. All right.
I guess I have one other question about the project management portion of it, or mainly kind of like a thought on that, I would say. So basically, to do our daily check-ins, we're going to be using the citizen health chat. We're going to be using the citizen health chat for our daily check-ins, as well as to update, or to basically write in like our skill sets and the things that we're working on this project. Or are we going to be are we just going to use citizen chat or the citizen health chat for our daily updates, and then Google Sheets to list like the things that we're doing on this project and our skills on this project as well too?
Yeah, so to answer that, so what I was thinking is using the Rocket Chat, the Citizen Health Chat, in order to do the check-in, since it's going to be a little bit more dynamic and we can have a channel and record to see what everyone's working on, or sort of what they're working on today. I was thinking about complementing that with a spreadsheet with the list of people that's involved in the project, so that we at least know, as a director, you know, who is Gregory, like what does he do, who is Brennan, what role does he have in the project, so that we understand who everyone is, have a little bit of context in that area. And then also do a Trello board that's specific for the different sprints that we'll be doing. So I want to get started with the inventory of people with the check-in, check-out chat. And then going from there, once I get a better understanding of what everyone's working in, actually do the Trello board so that we have a visual way of seeing, you know, on a Kanban board, like who's working on what's being worked on right now, what's still missing. And then hopefully, you know, this can all just flow very easily. We have a very clear line of thought and communication into what everyone's working in. And, you know, hopefully nothing falls through the cracks.
Okay, got it. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, if anyone has any suggestions, comments, you know, if anyone's worked with any tools or has more experience with distributed teams in any way, you know, I'm on Rocket Chat. You can always find me there, and always open to criticism and comments and feedback.
Cool. Thank you, Simon. All right, everyone. Well, I have nothing else to add. So if everybody is good with what we currently have, let's go ahead and bring this meeting to a close. And I'm recording this. So I'll record it, post it in the Rocket Chat chat, as well as probably put it on Trello, put it in a few different places. But I know last week we recorded the meeting, and then Megan and I, we sat on for another hour talking, and I was recording the thing the whole time. So I haven't got to splicing it up yet, but yeah, I'll post this and go from there.
So I'm curious, is our app linked to a database for real data yet, or not yet?
I believe it is. Yeah, we already have the authentication set up where at least users can join. We're sending data as to MySQL database on AWS. Yeah, so that's set up.
Yeah. So when you are just testing your app on your local machine, like let's say when I click on the very well on my self health check-in, and even though I just randomly clicking, is it still going to go to the real database?
I don't know if that one will. I think you're referring to this one here.
Yeah, like the locals. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure on that. Daniel would have to be the one to answer that. But if it's on local, no, I don't think so. And let's see here. So this one here, this form, will be replaced with this. So this is the Torpedo option, and it's just like Typeform. It's got some different options, but it's a conversational flow. You can add a lot of fun things in it. So that this is what we'll be using in replace.
So our job is just copy those questionnaires to our real app.
Yeah, there's some options here, like for this particular, let me see, hang on one second, I'll share this with you. Torpedo, I wish Ioana was on this because he could help. Torpedo is basically a full-fledged SDK, survey SDK. And here you go, I'm sending that in there. So definitely need some help on this because right now we're just embedding it, and it's a JavaScript ES6 embed. And that's currently what we're using now with COVIDx, but we need to bake this in a little deeper where we can start building our own blocks, and the blocks are the individual questions, such as, I mean, you see these on my screen here, location, we need to build that, and a couple other options. So if you want to take a look at Torpedo, there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done on this. If you want to help on these forms, we can definitely customize it more for sure. And this is all open source under MIT. Majority of it is. See, these are the three main things: the visual editor, response collector, and the building block. So the response collector is basically what you see, and the building blocks are the individual components, the types of questions we ask. All right, well, I will get in touch with Ioana, and we will kind of coordinate out what needs to be done. I know he's doing a lot of good work on this, so just kind of want to get his feedback first on what needs to be done, and then we can share that out. Simon, I guess you can get in contact with him as well, and we'll just keep the conversations going and try to get everybody on the same page. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for your time today, and thank you for your help on this project, and let me know if I can help you in any way. Thanks.
It was great meeting y'all.
It was nice to meet everyone.
Nice to meet you guys as well too.
All
Thank
right.
you everybody so much.